You're listening to The Straight Line on MRN.com, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. And also brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Well, happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ralph Shaheen, and speaking of Halloween, a guy who used to be nicknamed Dougzilla, so that kind of fits. What was your best Halloween costume as a kid?
Oh, as a kid,
Because I got to say, some of your adult costumes, like you've done for your Breaks Foundation stuff, it's probably the best outfits you've ever had.
We've had, Mimi dressed me up as Tonto or something here a year or so ago, and it was, I scared people, right, walking into a party with a like a tomahawk.
Yeah,
they're like, holy shit, who's that big Indian?
But what was your best one as a kid?
As a kid, gosh,
or favorite, maybe.
As a kid, we'd go to Kmart and buy a Superman costume or Batman or something like that.
You do those little boxes.
Yeah, you get a little box. Yeah,
and those stupid straps on the back that never
exactly,
stayed on.
Right, the covers over your shoes and all that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably Batman. I know, when I was growing up, I loved watching Batman on TV, so I'm sure that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Probably.
Ned probably did a racer thing somewhere too, right?
I'm sure I did.
I did a Martian costume once. I think was probably my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, you buy the rubber mask and then you go, Mom, I'm a Martian, and then she's got to figure out how to do the rest of the costume from there.
That's cool. Yeah,
that's, one of them things.
Yeah, sometimes people tell me I don't even need to dress up for Halloween because I always look funny anyways.
I didn't say it. Not saying I didn't think it. But
thanks a lot.
I didn't go there at least.
Oh, man.
Maybe scary for the rest of the competition is the fact that Mike Neff is now over at Tasca.
I think that's got to be. Mike Neff, think about the history with him. I remember him being at, he's from Hemet, right? So he was Larry Minor for a long time, and they had pretty good success over there at Larry Minor's with Mike Neff as coming up through the ranks. And then as crew chief for Gary Scelzi, they won a couple championships in the funny car, or at least one championship in the funny car, won a lot of races. And then as crew chief for Force, they won the championship. And then as a driver, he almost won the championship driving one of Force's funny cars one year. So he can tune the car, he could build the car, he could drive the car, and he's a nice guy. I think that's a great move by Tasca.
And if Tasca's thinking, for all the reasons you just said, too, and Bob's program has really stepped up. And if he's thinking of expanding in 2020 or 2021, maybe two-car team or whatever, Neff's a great guy to have there for all the reasons you just said.
Absolutely. He's an organized guy.
He can even drive it.
Yeah, right. There's not that many people. You could put them in a room with a bunch of metal and a welder and a couple of machines, and they can build a car, and take and go drive the car. He's one of those guys. Johnny West is one. Yep. Mike Neff. There's a few guys that are talented enough to actually build the car, tune the car, drive the car, everything. And Mike Neff is one of those guys.
You even said before we started the show that if you were to go racing again, Mike would be one of the first guys you'd call.
He would, for sure. Yeah, he's an easy to get along with guy. He's, he obviously loves to win. He's got the talent and ability to win. Yeah, great choice. I think Bob Tasca did a wonderful thing getting Mike Neff on board. Good job. And you can see, I think he came on as a consultant earlier in the year, and it was about as soon as he came on as a consultant, Tasca won a race. It was that quick. So really good to see that happen.
I think you got to, we're almost to the end of 2019, obviously. And if you start thinking about 2020 off season and who you got to keep an eye on, I think that Tasca program is going to be, a lot of people are going to be kind of looking over their shoulder going, that's one we're going to have to deal with.
Well, that's right. And also Ford being behind them. Ford got out of racing or, got out of drag racing here a few years ago where they were involved, obviously big time with John Force. They've got back in now with Tasca and they want to win, Mm-hmm. They're not out there to not win. Look at what they're doing in Cup, right? You've got all the stuff with Roush and Yates. And that's a powerful setup, they have. And I'm sure that they're looking forward to doing the same thing in drag racing with Bob Tasca and his team. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think you got a good point there. That wouldn't be very big of a surprise if they ended up with another car.
Yeah. Obviously, Vegas this weekend, and then Pomona right after that with the SEMA show slapped into the middle.
Yep.
And for those that might not know, that SEMA show deal for these guys, if you look on the SEMA website about all the appearances being made, there's drag racers everywhere.
Yep.
So there's really no downtime for them in between Vegas and Pomona, because you've got SEMA show is going to take up some time. I was texting back and forth with Caps this morning. They're staying over and testing on Monday in Vegas, and SEMA starts on Tuesday. I mean, this is a really busy time, especially for those that are in the middle of this championship hunt.
Right. Absolutely, for sure. They're going to go into these last couple weeks of the season with not much days off. They're going to be going like crazy. After the season's over, they're going to go to their banquet. They're going to do that and then check out for a few days, I'm sure. It seems like that was when a lot of the teams or, crew guys, whatever, they'll go on a trip to somewhere. Just get out of town, relax, let your stuff get home, and
something with a fruity liquor drink, right, with an umbrella in it.
Probably, yes.
So I would think, if you're a guy like Andrew Hines and you're in pretty good position, up 80 points or whatever, maybe you're not stressing so much over these next 2 weeks. But if you're somebody like Erica Enders, who's in the middle of all this, and you got people breathing down your neck, and she's making appearances at SEMA, this is a really stressful time, I got to believe.
Oh, I guarantee it's a really stressful time. Robert Hight, we're going to have on the show a little bit later, leading the points, but, that 1.5 points at Pomona, that changes things a little bit. So, you got 60 points. Oh, yeah, you got 3 rounds. Well, guess what? At Pomona, it's only 2 rounds. So that changes things pretty big time. We'll have to ask Robert a little bit about that. And then Eddie Krawiec going to be on the show with us. I think his I would think for the whole Vance and Hines Harley-Davidson team, the object is to finish number 1 and 2. Andrew's looking pretty good at number 1, but then again, how strong is that with that points deal? That changes things. Obviously, their goal, I'm sure, we'll have to ask them when we get them on, is to finish 1 and 2.
Sure, no doubt about it. Okay, lots to talk about here, and we're going to have, as Doug just mentioned, Andrew Hines and Robert Hight coming up on the show here today, and some more news as we get a little deeper into the program. So stay with us on this Halloween edition of MRN's The Straight Line. Hey, race fans, it's Ralph Shaheen, and like you, I have a huge passion for racing. With the most in-depth features on racers, series, and events, no one covers racing better than America's original motorsports publication, Speed Sport. Get your subscription to Speed Sport magazine today at speedsport.com.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for our See Better, Drive Safer sale. Right now, get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Sylvania bulbs for your headlights. Plus, earn double O-Rewards points. Visit your professional parts people today at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Winged Nation, your go-to for winged sprint car talk, news, and information. Find all the episodes of Winged Nation on your favorite podcast platforms. Steve Post, Ashley Stremme, and Aaron Evernham go in-depth with the race winners and personalities from dirt tracks all across America. Like Winged Nation on Facebook. Follow Winged Nation on Twitter. You'll get stories and information and live broadcasts of Winged Nation shows from some of the top dirt tracks in the nation. Winged Nation, your home for winged sprint cars.
Back on MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, and joining us now is the man on the phone who leads the Funny Car Championship by 70 over Jack Beckman and 74 over John Force. That, of course, is Robert Hight. Robert, welcome to the show. What's the best Halloween costume you ever wore?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I don't dress up a lot, but one year I was a Blues Brothers.
Oh.
That was cool.
Okay.
That is cool.
Who'd you do that with?
One of our crew guys at the time.
Nice.
When I used to work on John's car as a crew member. So, are you guys dressed up today?
No, but in some ways that's as frightening as you need anyway, right?
Robert, how are we looking going into Vegas? You've got a decent lead, 70 points, not bad. And the way your cars have been running, I mean, low ET, top speed, going rounds, winning races. What do you think?
Well, it has been good, but 78 points or whatever, 73, that's not very comfortable, especially when Pomona is 1.5 points. We really need to go in and win Vegas is what we need to do. And that would probably give us a pretty good feeling going to Pomona. But anything can happen, at these races. And what I feel, looking at the forecast and everything for Vegas, tough to make horsepower in Vegas to begin with, because it's you're halfway to Denver. It's high elevation, and then when you have 4 qualifying runs, that the conditions are going to all be very, very similar. The field is going to be bunched up. I bet you that from number 1 to number 8 won't be separated by 0.03 of a second in funny car. So, you have to be perfect, and to go there and think that, you can, it would be nice to have 3 or 4 hundredths on the field, but that's just not going to happen in Vegas with the way the forecast conditions are going to be. So it's going to be tough. And, if you're in that middle of the road, 6 through 10, you're going to have a hitter first round. So we got our work cut out for us.
Size up your 2 top competitors for us. As we said, Jack Beckman is 70 points down behind you, and John is 4 more back behind him. I mean, obviously we know who these guys are, but you see them probably a little differently than we do as a competitor. What do you think about as you have to square up against either one of those 2?
Well, they both have really good cars. Honestly, I feel that right now John Force probably has the best car in funny car. He's making the most real good runs, quick, consistent, hardly ever smokes the tires. So and John's won 16 championships. He's no stranger to this position this time of year. So I would say that's probably our toughest competition, but Beckman's running well. And we let Hagan back in last weekend, and that was my doing. I red lit in the semis. No guarantee we would have beat him. He made a great run against us, but nonetheless, he's back in this thing, and that they've won championships. So it is going to go down to the last couple rounds at Pomona. There's no doubt about it, and I can't wait. I'm just had an off weekend. I didn't want it. I'm glad to be heading to Vegas today to get right back at it.
Hey, Robert, Ralph and I were talking about last week what you were just mentioning in Dallas. Every once in a while, right, being a driver, something in your head, it just says it's time to go, and you go. Is that what happened, or was there something else happen on the car? What was the story over there?
It was exactly what you said, Doug. I wasn't nervous. It was a real long tree, and I remember my mind thinking, man, I wish this thing had fire this tree. And next thing I know, my leg just left, foot went. And I didn't even let go of the brake, okay, because I knew it wasn't time. I knew I didn't see amber, and it's the worst feeling in the world. You let your team down, but the most important thing now is to forget it, okay? Get it behind you. Don't think about it anymore. Go in, and we're not in a position to play defense here. We're in the lead, but we're not going to race defensively. That's not Jimmy Prock style. It's not what got us here. We got to go out there and be on offense and try to make the best runs we can every round, get points, get those little points. It'd be nice to, get those guys to where they were 4 rounds back going into race day. So we've got our work cut out for us. But, this is what you want. This is what you want. I keep looking back to, a few years ago, we would go into Vegas with no chance of winning the championship. And now we actually have 4 cars that have a shot at winning the championship. So John Force Racing's healthy. We're in good shape and cannot wait for tomorrow at 1 o'clock to get in the car and then get started.
Robert, what you talked about there, having to put that behind you, is something we hear a lot about, like in the NFL. A quarterback throws an interception, or a cornerback gets burned on a play, and they've got to be able to put that behind them and get ready for the next series of downs. We say that, we know that, but look, we're still all human. It lingers in the back of your mind. How have you figured out how to deal with it?
Well, truthfully, cutting a light isn't a hard task, okay? And that's what you've got to make it as easy as possible. How hard is it to roll up there, see a light, and hit the gas, okay? And that's what you've got to think. You've just got to make it as simple as possible because it is simple. and not make too much of it, okay? Not be nervous, not think about last week, not think about who you're racing. Just be it and leave. End of story.
Well, that's a good way to sum that up for sure, I think. Hey, Robert, tell us a little bit about, your team. Since you've even been racing, right? You've been John Force, you've had Auto Club, and for a lot of those years, you've had Jimmy Prock. You guys are, it's like you got to be almost like brothers. You've been together that long. You probably know what he's thinking. He knows what you're thinking. How does that chemistry help you on race day? Obviously, I think there's a lot to that.
There is. It was a dream come true to get him back, in the mix over here, and then also to have him back, and me driving for him. So we are very, very close, good friends, and it was pretty cool. A lot of times there's crew chiefs they'll beat you up when you make a mistake, like I did in Dallas. But the first thing he said to me was, we would have had to have made a great run to beat Hagan, and I'm not sure we would have run. They ran 390 with a 0, and we hadn't run that all day long, not even when the conditions were good first round. So Jimmy tried to really make me feel good right away by saying, not for sure we could have beat him anyway, and just kind of took it off of me. So that's a partner right there. That's a guy that is a great teammate.
So you guys got this great organization. You're all teammates. John's always down there on the starting line watching everybody, giving advice and all that. But now you're down to the final 2 races and an opportunity for somebody over there, you or him, to be champion. Do we stop being teammates? Is every man for himself at this point?
No. We still work together and help each other. Now when it comes down to us facing each other, between rounds or, on race day, between rounds, we probably won't share data and help each other, but it's still friendly, but our best chances, of getting this championship are having 2 really good Camaros and helping each other, hopefully being at the top like we qualified last week, 1 and 2. That's where we need to be, because then we don't race each other till the final round. So, no, we're still working together, helping each other. We all share in the bonus and the money, no matter who wins. But it's no doubt he wants to win 17, and I want to win number 3.
How about let's talk about for a second, Robert, what John Force Racing calls next gen. So next gen, you've got Austin Prock. He's up probably for the Rookie of the Year, which you guys at John Force Racing have pretty good luck with that. And then we've got your daughter coming up, hopefully driving here, I know, pretty soon. And then we need to get her to come to breaks too. And we're going to need to get you and probably Force out there too, because I don't know about Force's safe driving.
We'll be
I've
there.
seen him driving
rent-a-cars.
cars.
Trust me. I can't wait. She's excited about it. She's already got her DMV books and been reading them, and I'm going to put her through the Auto Club driving school as well. But by the time, she takes the road, she's definitely going to have a lot of training and help, and I'm looking forward to coming to breaks, that's for sure.
Well, Robert, we're looking forward to watching you battle it out here over these final 2 weeks of the season. Good luck. Have a safe trip over to Vegas, and good luck in getting to Wally.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Thanks,
okay,
Robert.
buddy. Talk to you then. We're going to have Eddie Krawiec joining us here in just a second, so stay right there. We're coming right back.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away 1 set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
O'Reilly.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for our See Better, Drive Safer sale. Right now, get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase a pair of Bosch Focus or Trico Titan wiper blades. We'll even install them for free. Plus, you'll earn double O Rewards points. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For 5 decades, the Motor Racing Network has been the voice of NASCAR. And now, it's time to tell our story.
They are in turn 2 in front of Mike Joy.
With help from some of the sport's iconic voices.
Oh, crap! And I spin around.
Here comes Richard Petty.
I'm Fred Armstrong. Join me for MRN's newest podcast series, MRN Presents 50 Years, the Voice of NASCAR. Available for download on MRN.com and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
We're back to MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ralph Sheen and Doug Herbert with you. And joining us on the phone is Eddie Krawiec, who is 4th in the Pro Stock Motorcycle Championship. Eddie, you're 99 points back behind your teammate with Karen Stauffer and Jerry Savoy in between you. Before we get into all the stuff for Vegas, since it's a Halloween edition, we're asking everybody, what was your best Halloween costume ever?
Oh, my best Halloween costume. Well, I guess a couple of years ago, I had like a mullet hairdo and everything. You know, the Pro Stock motorcycle class kind of takes and makes fun of it, you know, and has a good day on Saturday, and everybody dresses up. So, you know, I've dressed up as a couple of the construction workers, whatever kind of works with the leathers. You know, you got to ride down the track, but it's all in good fun. And then we do a trick or treat thing where all the kids walk around on Saturday, hit up all the trailers. So it works really well.
So you got a mullet guy. That's cool. I don't even have to dress up for that in the old days, but now my hair is not long enough. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's like the good old Joe Dirt costume, you know, so you can't go wrong with that.
Hey, Eddie, your Vance and Hines Harley Davidson Screaming Eagle is running good. Andrew, your teammate's leading the points. What's your goal going into these last couple races? Finishing 1 and 2, you winning the races. You need to put Andrew in a stronger position. What's
winning?
Vance and Hines?
Winning. That's the way I look at it. You know, I think obviously we'd love to finish 1 and 2 and do what we can, but I think if I can, with the way the point structure is now, with it 1 race left as a standard points and then Pomona points and a half, you know, anything could really happen. There is no comfort zone because, you know, you look at it, if you go out in the semis in Vegas and somebody goes on to win, that's 40 points. And then you go out in the final round in Pomona and somebody goes on to win, there's another 30. So that's 70 right there. It can get it really interesting really quick. So my goal is basically, we'll know a little more as we roll out of this race, but my goal is to win here and see what we can get and, you know, get in those positions. Right now, I'd say the top 5 are pretty tight. Top 4 are only separated by a couple rounds, and it's really a group of us, me, Jerry, and Karen, that are only a round apart. So it should be interesting. Definitely going to be a nail-biter rolling into Pomona.
As we were talking off air just before we started the segment, you mentioned the wind and the temperatures out in Vegas this weekend. What are you expecting?
You know, it's kind of rare when you go to Las Vegas and you pack like with heavier clothes than when you left Indianapolis in the middle of you know, October, November, because you know it's 41 degrees right now. I'm driving over to the track, going to finish setting up, put the awning up, and get everything going. But the key is the wind here, because this place can have 30, 40 mile an hour crosswinds. You know, it can get a little treacherous on a motorcycle. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But I'm pretty confident. I have a good chassis setup. I know how to get my bike down a track like that. So I think I have an edge if the wind kicks up.
Hey, Eddie, we know that during the week, obviously, you do a lot of work on the Harley-Davidson stuff, but you've also do for Vance and Hines some of the Suzuki stuff. How do you split your time now coming down to the end and you're racing a couple Suzukis?
Yeah, you know, it kind of worked out in between these last races because we only had one engine service go back and the other 2 guys. So Blake, our engine guy in the shop, handled all that, and I was able to stay focused and work on some other customer stuff. I mean, for us, the huge thing right now is Supercross season. You know, it's crazy in our business and what we have in the cylinder head side of things. I mean, I got I think it was 45 dirt bike heads in over the last 2 days. So for me, I've been juggling daily running and operation of the Vance Hines race shop in Indy, and it's a challenge. You know, for me, job is the race shop, and my weekend job is the drag bike.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you interested in the Supercross stuff because I know you're a huge fan of it. I usually get text messages from him almost every Saturday night during the broadcast. Yeah. Eddie, you were talking about the wind and that you feel like you have that figured out if you have to deal with a crosswind. Obviously, when you're racing, you're thinking about straight ahead, but now you're going to have to think a little bit from the side. So how do you deal with that? Do you set yourself up differently, rider position-wise on the bike? What are you trying to do to compensate?
Well, yes, that's one thing that we do, but the other thing is we put a little rear steer in it. You know, we move the axle around. We actually make the bike want to go the opposite direction. So if the wind's coming from the right and the left, we want to make it drive right and make it force it to go right down the track so we don't have to hang off. The more you have to hang off, less aerodynamic you are. So the key is to stay as aero as you can and not have to fight the wind and kind of keep the bike neutral. So you have to do both. So you have to move around on the motorcycle some, and you have to set the bike up, you know, for the other half of it. That's the challenging part. But the one thing that you can't guess on is how hard of a gust or, you know, how much wind it's going to be. Because if you have 15 miles an hour steady and then all of a sudden you get 25 mile an hour gust, it's going to want to move you over 5 feet as you're going down the track. So you have to adjust for that and be careful. But, you know, I think with our you know, FXDRs that we've got, you know, they're a little more aero. They help a little bit in this in the crosswind situation, as you know, like from past years when we had the street rods or V rods and bikes like that. It made it a little tougher. So I have a great motorcycle right now. I just need to get it from A to B, make clean runs all weekend long.
Well, you know what? It sounds like a rear stagger. I've not even thought of that before. That's a pretty good idea. I guess that's why Vance and Hines and what you do with Terry Vance and Byron and, you know, just all this stuff, probably the winningest team in drag racing history, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure about that. I mean, category for sure, but as the years go on, hopefully we continue to stack them up. You know, it's by no means easy. I'm still searching for my first win of the season. I've been to a good handful of finals, but, you know, consistency is what really gets you to championship. I mean, I know that from back in 2008 where I was fortunate enough well, I wouldn't even say fortunate enough. I was able to win the championship without getting a win. So I've told everybody I'd surely take no wins and take that championship again.
What's the one thing that's lacking then this year? Like you said, you've been to the finals a few times. What do you got to do to get over the hill?
You know, I've been struggling with a little bit of a clutch department on my motorcycle and the consistency of getting it down the track. But honestly, I'd say these last 2 races, we've turned the corner on that. We've figured it out. Last race, it definitely showed by going to the final. And then, you know, as we continue to develop and work on things, it's just been a little bit more of a challenge. You know, each bike has its own, what I'd like to say is characteristics. Being Andrew's bike, Angel's bike, and my bike, they all want to be, just say we can throw the same clutch setup in it and the same fuel map and ignition map in them, but you can't. These things they have a mind of its own. Each one wants to be tuned different. And if you try to tune them all the same, you're going to have one bike go fast, one bike go slow, and one bike probably not even qualify. So it's about getting it down the track and giving it what it wants and ultimately looking at your time slip to prove that you're going the right direction.
Well, going into Vegas this weekend, it looks like you're in a pretty good shape. There was only one guy that did better than you last week in Dallas. So, you know, that Vegas would be a good place to get the first win of the season. You're waiting a little late.
Yeah,
for
sure. For sure. You know, there's so many good bikes in the category right now. I tell you, there's probably 12, 14 bikes that could win any given Sunday. And right now at that point, it's about getting your job done and getting it all handled. I mean, for us, we switched to new bodywork midway through the season. The beginning of the season, I was off to, you know, final rounds and really running well. And then when we switched to the new bike in the mid part of the season, Andrew's bike, he ran that bike all from the beginning of the year. So I had to kind of develop a notebook, as I'd like to say. So the notebook got it going, and here we are in the last few races, and it's starting to come on strong. So I'm excited about it. I really think I have one of the best motorcycles in the category right now, and it puts all the weight on my shoulders. I need to race well on Sunday.
Well, we hope it all comes together for you this weekend, Eddie. Best of luck, and go get them these last 2 rounds, and I'll see you to Supercross before the season's over, okay?
Sure will. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and as always, thanks for having me on.
All right, Eddie Krawiec joining us. We're going to come back and wrap things up with some more news after this.
O'Reilly.
This is Jesse's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
As a nurse, not making it to work was not an option. But driving through the snow with my wiper blades struggling, I just didn't feel safe. So I pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts, and before I knew it, an employee was offering to install the wiper blades on my car. I got to stay out of the snow for a moment, and I still made it to work on time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, folks. Mike Bagley here. At MRN, we rely on equipment from Racing Electronics.
Joey Logano to the lead on the back straightaway.
Racing Electronics has scanners and headphones. We can listen to every uncensored conversation between driver and crew.
You won the championship, baby, yeah!
And when we need live audio, in-car cameras, and up-to-the-second statistics, we use their latest handheld unit called Legend. To learn more about these products and many others, visit racingelectronics.com. Racing Electronics, the official two-way communication partner of MRN.
Jeff Gordon has come from virtually nowhere.
He's one of NASCAR's all-time greats.
For the 93rd time in his career.
A pioneering champion.
Be at the right place at the right time.
The kid who took on the good old boys and changed NASCAR.
We started to go toe-to-toe from Earnhardt.
MRN presents a 10-part podcast series that traces Jeff Gordon's rise to NASCAR legend. Jeff Gordon, the colorful career of the Rainbow Warrior. Available now at MRN.com and your favorite podcast source.
I don't know what kind of candy they're giving out at Herbert's place this week for Halloween, but when it comes to free stuff, we do have free tires to give you from the folks at Hercules Tire. All you have to do to get a free set of tires, we give one away every month. Register by going to HerculesTire.com/MRN.
Free tires. So trick or treat for a free set of tires. That's a heck of a good deal. That's better than a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Is that what you give?
Yeah, I like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
You give
The
just
big ones.
one?
No.
Or you give like
No, man.
2?
I'm a Costco guy. Like, I'll go there and get the big, yeah.
Nice.
I don't have that many trick-or-treaters in my house, so we give
So
the big stuff.
Yeah. I like it. Well, one thing that we don't have to give away is tickets, unfortunately, but you can get some if you want to go to one of the last 2 rounds of competition for the 2019 season. Of course, the Dodge NHRA Nationals, all presented by Pennzoil this weekend out of Vegas. And then those Auto Club finals and the 1.5 up for grabs at Pomona.
And Pomona's going to be big. Now, 1.5 points is big, but it's going to come down to, I guarantee you, at least 1 or 2 of those classes, it's going to come down to a race between 2 people for winning that championship.
Yeah, it should be packed at Pomona. So just go to NHRA.com, click on the red ticket tab in the top right corner, get your tickets, and go enjoy the races.
Go to the races. I'll tell you what, either one of these last couple races is going to be good. As Robert Hight said, Vegas probably going to be a little bit chilly. Pomona is probably going to be good weather, unless they have smoke. Our producer, Daryl, was bringing up a point. There are a lot of fires out there, so we're thinking about the folks out in California affected by that. It's a bad problem.
It's crazy. Some news for you as we wrap up the show here today. Beal Racing, of course, Chuck Beal, longtime alcohol class competitor.
Chuck Beal was a West Coast Division 7 alcohol funny car guy for years. His company was CNC, a lot of brake products and so forth. Yeah, great guys. Coming out with a top fuel car, a new top fuel car.
Yeah, they are. They're going to make a debut in Las Vegas. Pat Dakin is going to drive the car, and then Brandon Welch is going to license the car on Monday for future rounds.
Well, that'll be great. It's always good to see some more competition, a new car coming out. If Dakin's over there helping him, Dakin, for a part-time guy, his car always runs pretty darn good. Yeah. So happy to see that. I'm sure that car will be a good, I don't know what their plans are for next year, but they can come out and run some races. Hey, they need all the top field cars out there they can get.
Well, and if you can make an impression now, right, you make a run at Vegas, and then maybe Brandon drives a car in Pomona, you make some shows, makes it easier to get some sponsorship to go run in 2020. And we're going to add another car to the funny car category in Vegas as well. Stephen Densham, son of Gary, going to continue the family business in a funny car.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gary Densham, I don't know for sure how old he is, but he's at least 70 years old, right? He's been racing nitro funny cars for a long time. For those of you listeners that aren't familiar with Gary Densham, he was a high school auto shop teacher for many years. out in Southern California, race a funny car. His funny cars always had teacher's pad on the side of them. It was kind of a neat deal, but he'd always, he was involved with bringing teenagers out to the racetrack, getting them involved, realizing that auto stuff is an important thing, a trade to be in. And now with his son, Steven, hopping in the funny car. I think that's great. Congratulations to Densham Racing. Good luck to them this weekend in Vegas.
Well, interestingly enough, Steven's a teacher as well. He teaches at Vista High School over in San Diego, just like his dad did.
No
and he got licensed a year ago in Vegas with his dad coaching him down the track.
Well, there you go. You've got a next generation funny car racers. I'm just proud of them. They're nice guys. Gary and his wife Joanne are super people. Happy to see them out there, and they've been doing this for a long time. Somebody posted a picture a while back of Gary Densham racing like an one of those old Stonewoods and Cooks like gasser type things at Lions, and he had Chet Herbert cams on the thing. I was like, oh
nice.
Man, that was cool. So Densham's always been a neat guy. I really like.
I like that. And as we continue through, it's our red light, green light segment here. It's going to be the 60th anniversary for National Dragster at Pomona to wrap things up for the year too.
Wow, that's pretty good. Think about that. 1959, 1960, right? 60 years of National Dragster. That's pretty cool. Really, for so long, everybody looked forward to every week getting National Dragster in because you didn't know who won the races, right? And you'd go to National Dragster. Obviously, with the way that media is now, right? You could go to speedsport.com or speedsport, type of deal, or TV production, watching the races on TV live, whereas opposed to a week or two delayed like they were. But National Dragster, it's been that's NHRA, man. They've been great for a long time, and so proud to say been on the cover of that magazine a couple times.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They're young pups compared to us over at Speed Sport. We're 85. They're 25 years younger than we are. Man. No, that's great. Congratulations to all those guys over there, guys and gals at National Dragster. They do a great job, and of course, any of us who have been NHRA members have thumbed through the pages because it came in the mailbox all the time, right?
Oh, I know. I used to look forward to it. I know one time I was not getting my National Dragster for a while, and I beat up the mail guy. I go, hey, I'm not getting my National Dragster. He goes, look, car magazines I don't care about. He goes, now if you got Playboy, there might be a day or two delay on you getting it, but you'll finally get it. I was like, oh my gosh, seriously, they do that? But he said he never stole my National Dragster.
I got nothing. We'll see you. Happy Halloween. Be safe.